Hey, welcome. Today, this week's web class is coming from you from a very different location. I am out of town with my family enjoying our first semi-vacation since the pandemic hit. And so I'm delivering you this message from a pause on my vacation just to make sure you get what I promised. So a little different format. Normally I've got a beautiful PowerPoint with a lot of information and bullet points listed out to give you the details on a visual screen. But this time you get to look at beautiful Francisco. So if you've never joined us before, my name is Francisco Servent. I'm the founder and CEO, the managing attorney at Keystone Law Firm. And so today is going to be a little bit different. I am going to deliver these to you in quick bullet point fashions that are enough for you to walk away knowing really what I think most widows just don't end up finding out until it's too late. And life is just so different. My father was raised by his mom. His dad died actually when he was about 6 years old. And so it was him and there were 6 kids, and his mom raised all of them on her own. And so, you know, my abuelita, near and dear to my heart, she passed away a few years ago. She knows what it was like to be a widow, and she lived as a widow for a long, long time. Life is completely different when that phase of life hits you, and there's not much that can prepare you for it. There really, if you met the love of your life, and if you, no matter how much you can plan and look for and know that, you know what the reality is, one of us is going to survive, it's so hard to think that truly I'm going to need to prepare for this one day. Not much can prepare you for it. And if you're facing that right now, my heart is really with you. I know you truly aren't prepared for this, and it might not look like things can ever get back to normal. There it goes. It won't ever get back to normal. It will be totally different. But I hope these 3 things can help you at least make some plans so that things don't seem as confusing, or that the future doesn't have to seem so unknown. So here are 3 things that I think more people need to know about when they hit that phase of life of becoming a widow. First one, okay? The first thing is that it doesn't matter how well organized everything was and how well organized all your affairs were with your spouse. It has to be administered, okay? There are steps you have to go through to make sure everything is done correctly and you don't wake up 5 years down the road with a nightmare. I have had to deliver that message to too many gals and even guys who were widows or widowers, and one just breaks my heart, where her husband passed away, and this was 5 years later, I think. It was 5 years later that he passed away. She had some questions about their trust, and it turned out that they didn't do everything that they needed to do after he passed away, and the house wasn't in her name, the finances and money weren't all in her name, and actually some taxes were going to be due that were going to become a giant tax bill and wipe out a ton of her finances. And had they just gone through and done some steps to wind up his affairs completely, she wouldn't have been left with this big giant tax bill and mess financially years later. No matter what you have, whether it's a will or a trust or nothing from your spouse who may have just passed away, you've got to see what needs to be done. You've got to remove their name off of the accounts and the finances and the real estate, the house, the car, the insurance, the pensions, the Social Security. Everything has to be cleaned up, or else you, the survivor, you can be left with a humongous financial mess. And that leads me to the second big thing that I want you to know about, which is by not doing that, you could end up with a bigger problem paying for your long-term care bills than ever. If you end up maybe needing assisted living or even in-home caregivers, or you want one of your family members to be paid as a caregiver, right? If you want to maintain your total financial independence during that really fragile time of life, then make sure you administer all the affairs there, because you're now responsible. It's now your job to take care of your financial independence, to pay for whatever care you might need during those last few years of life where we're most vulnerable. And that can get very, very expensive. In Maricopa County, the average is over $7,000 a month. It's out of pocket. It's not paid for by Medicare. It's not paid for by your health insurance. If you're covered on a health insurance plan, it's not covered by health insurance. It's covered by totally separate insurance that most people don't have, called long-term care insurance. If you don't have long-term care insurance, then it's out of pocket for you. There's a couple ways to get it paid for, okay? Either you're just going to pay for it out of pocket, or second, you have that long-term care insurance, or third, set yourself up to get it paid for by either Medicaid or the VA. That's the benefit program, okay? That benefit program, Medicaid or the VA, is going to basically depend on whether you administered all the affairs back when your spouse passed away. Because there's some things you can do during that time period to help you be qualified for those benefits when you need them in the future. And they can provide you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 a year in benefits to pay for that stuff. And can make sure you stay financially independent, so you don't end up being a burden on your kids, so they don't have to end up paying for your bills, or you don't have to end up moving in with them if that's not what you want. You get to stay financially and personally, you get to stay independent. So that's the second thing, is to take care of those long-term care needs. The third thing as a widow is that, no matter what you had with your spouse, your estate plan, your will, your trust, it has to be updated now. Your life is different. The laws are different. You went from a married couple to now a single individual, and legally there's just lots of changes that happen. Your will, your trust has to be updated. It has to be updated. They're just, even my own clients that we do plans for, when we do their will, their trust, and it's for a married couple, we do it, this way. When they're a single person, we do it that way. It's a different plan. And if you're a Trust Care member of ours, where we're doing updates with you every year, then you're already going to get those updates incorporated into your plan when we meet, okay? My team will make sure you do. You get those taken care of. But if you're a new client to ours, or you haven't worked with us in the past, then come learn and figure out what are those changes you need to make. It just has to happen. You're a single individual under the law now and under the taxes now. That's it. Those are the three things. First, you have to administer the affairs of your spouse who passed away. Second, you must plan for staying financially independent and take care of your long-term care expenses. And third, you've got to update your plan now that it's you. Those are the three takeaways. Those are the three things. Now, if you want help with any of that, you can tune in. We've got lots of other web classes that talk about those things in specifics. I've got my weekly radio show, Rethink Your Legacy, where I talk about different aspects of this every single week. You can go to radio.keystonelawfirm.com, or just give our office a call, and we can have a one-on-one appointment with my team, with one of our client relationship managers, who will help you figure out what you need. She'll learn about your issues, what's going on, your goals, how do you want this to look, and then she'll lay out what is relevant for you. Here's A, B, C. And then it's just a no pressure, very easy, casual appointment. Right now we're doing them all virtually, by phone, by video, just like this. And that way you can stay at home and feel comfortable and not have to worry about trying to find your way to the office. We help clients all over the state of Arizona do this. So just jump on our website and you can schedule it, or you can call our office, 209-6942, and somebody will help you get scheduled. Or we're going to have a link right here below that you can click on, and you can go straight there and schedule it right online. Just find a time that works for you. Like I said, this is a little bit different version of our weekly web class. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks for joining, and tune in next week. We've got only a couple more weekly web classes that we're doing, so jump on next Thursday at noon for next week's topic. Take care, everybody. To your legacy.